Hello,
Hello.
welcome.
Welcome to this very special episode.
It's a
Uh,
hot episode.
it's
Literally.
We
it
are
is we're on the edge of our evacuation orders.
we're on fire.
Oh yeah, we
So
are.
just to give a little explanation about what this episode is, this is not going to be a regular episode. We went into this recording studio on Tuesday. We started the episode. The power went off. We kept trying to do it, and the power kept going off, and it lost all of the really super funny stuff we said.
Oh, so much gold. It was just
Actually, I do
lost
think it was
forever.
really funny. I was like very
Yeah.
bummed. I thought we had some really good stuff. But in any case, we had to abort the podcast, which is not allowed in most states.
No, you can
in a
only-
lot of states. Yeah.
You can only do that in California still.
Right. It was early on in the recording process. So
Yes.
we were still legally allowed to
Yeah.
abort the podcast.
No heartbeat was detected.
Right. So now we are all at home on Zoom, sheltering in place. The fires of Los Angeles are raging. So far, none of us have had to evacuate, although Chris is in. Why don't you explain what's going on in your area, Chris?
Yeah, so we did leave for a day because it was so bad, and we decided to go into Hollywood, where my husband has his business. We
Right.
had packed both cars, and we were just like, let's just kind of keep an eye on things from here
Mm-hmm.
and decide what we're going to do. And then we decided, oh, let's go back home. We're just going to keep our cars packed.
Smart.
And then while we were driving home, another fire broke out in the Hollywood Hills.
Right.
So that wouldn't have been a viable option for us
Right.
anyway. And we were kind of also thinking we're going to get away from the smoke that's
Right.
getting really bad over here. And when I was driving on Melrose toward his business, which is right near Paramount, you could see just the billowing smoke from the Palisades fire
Oh,
all the way in Beverly Hills. And
Wow.
it was
Yeah.
like massive clouds. So I was like, oh, we're not getting it away from, we might be away from the smoke
Yeah.
for a minute, but it's within a couple of hours, it would have probably been at his store anyway. So we weren't really accomplishing anything except, just making a hassle of a drive and traumatizing our cat and puppy for a few hours.
right. So you didn't sleep over in the
We
store?
didn't. We could have. There are many couches to choose from.
Right. Many
Um,
period couches.
Yes,
which you
many
could have-
uncomfortable couches.
yeah, that look good.
That look really good. If anyone is on the hunt for an uncomfortable, very beautiful couch.
So is the air quality super bad where you are right now?
It's not. It
Okay,
was. It was. I think. Let me just look at my app. I'll tell you what we're at right now. We are moderate air quality. We're at a 79 for our AQI.
I don't know what any of that means.
That's
but
the air quality index. You can find out what yours is right now if you look at your phone.
Okay.
On your weather app, it will tell you what your air quality index is
Oh.
right under your temperature. You just scroll down. I assume if you have an iPhone, you can do that. Every day you can find out.
Oh.
I'm at a
Air
67.
67. So yours is worse?
Better. The lower the number, the better.
Oh, okay. Air quality alert. But then I don't see what my actual air quality is. Anyway, who cares? I'm fine. There is ash on our cars, but we don't smell the smoke and we're
Yeah.
fine.
But, if there's ash on your cars, it's still probably a good idea to have a mask on outside.
Oh, 100%. Yes, yes, yes. I'm not going outside.
You weren't anyway. Let's face it.
Well, I would have gone for like a run or something today, but I didn't think it was a good idea. So,
Yeah. No, probably not. Probably not. We had yesterday, it was like in the high, almost to 200.
oh my God.
Oh,
And-
Doesn't sound good.
When we left, a few years ago when remember the fires from up in Oregon and during COVID, the air quality was in the 400s.
Jesus, are you serious?
Yeah, that's when we like left town and we went to Utah for a few days.
All right, I found mine. It's 73,
Oh, yeah, yours isn't good either.
which says it's better than yesterday at about this time.
Okay.
Huh. All right. Well,
So yeah, I mean, it's going to be, it's like the Canada fires, right? It's going to be widespread
yeah.
bad air for a lot of people in the country because it's going to travel. The air
Right.
travels. And I saw somebody saying on the internet that it's similar to, like, especially closer to where the fires are, to 9/11,
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of heat.
because it's all of the toxic chemicals that burn. It's not like we're just burning trees. You're
Yeah.
burning all the stuff in these buildings and homes. It's putting so many toxic chemicals into the air, and that's why, I worry for the firefighters, and
Yeah. And then the retardant that they put on it is also chemicals.
yeah.
So, because apparently water doesn't work that well.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, yeah, for these
they
kind of
could,
fires too,
yeah.
it's next to impossible to put them out. It's just
It's absolutely insane. So, for those of you who don't live in Los Angeles is a gigantic area. So, I'm sitting here completely like everything seems normal, but everything like around us is on fire. And I have to admit, when it was the Palisades, it was a little abstract to me. Although I used to babysit every week in the Palisades, but I didn't like know exactly where everything was. But when they started saying that the Sunset one, and every single street they're naming,
yeah.
that got a little freaky. And then there was, thankfully, a very brief fire in Studio City, which is not exactly where I grew up, but it's not where I lived, but it's where I grew up. Um, and that was like, okay, I know that intersection. This is very weird. That was, I think, two homes got destroyed, but they were able to put that out because the winds weren't as bananas as they had been the previous couple of days in Palisades. So yeah, and then you guys, you're near the Altadena, Pasadena area.
We're
The
very
Eaton
close to
fire,
the
yeah.
Eaton fire, yeah, which
Do
is
you know anyone who's been evacuated or who has lost their homes?
yeah, I know people who've lost their homes in Palisades, a really good friend of mine whose home I've spent a lot of time in.
I remember that now, right?
And a couple friends, a person who was on our show as a guest lost her home.
Oh, you're kidding.
Our friend Susan Burke lost their home in Altadena,
Oh no.
lost everything, and it's really sad. Yeah, our the man who does our gardening lost his home,
Oh my God.
and his truck that has all his tools. So his livelihood.
His livelihood.
And just to sort of put that in perspective, because it feels a little, I know this outside of California, people might not realize that, like, when you live in California, like, everyone has a gardener, basically. It's very
Yeah.
normal. That was sort of abstract to me when I came from Ohio, because in Ohio, everyone mows their own lawns, and to have a
Right.
gardener would mean, like, oh, you're wealthy. But, like,
Yeah, no,
here, it's like, even when you live in apartments, it's like the apartment
Yes.
complex has a gardener. And, like,
Right.
when we bought this house, there was already a gardener sort of attached to the house. And, like, it's
Right.
it's pretty unusual for people. I mean, I do my own yard work in the sense that, like, I plant my own plants, and we do the upkeep piece. Our Ruben, who comes,
They're like maintenance.
they do maintenance. Like, they
Yeah.
come and clear the brush, because there's a lot of brush, and, like, it's sort of a different experience when you live in California. So I did want to clarify that, because I didn't want it to sound like,
Yeah.
my gardener, gardener.
It's funny because obviously I grew up here, so I didn't realize, and Jimmy explained to me that it's not typical for most places to have a gardener. I mean, I guess I don't know why we have it, because I guess we could do it ourselves, but
it is,
anyway.
it's also really, like, you do need a lot of more power to, like, here, because of it's just a different experience, I would say.
Mhm.
That it's not the norm to sort of do it yourself.
Right.
And anyway, so I think there's it's weird in the portrayal of on the news media too, because sometimes it feels a little like, oh, these celebrities lost their homes. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, really, a lot of working class people,
Yeah.
their lives have been decimated. And I mean, I have equal compassion for everyone, because I really feel like, yes, people who have financial means have
Right.
greater ability to hand to shoulder this situation, of course. But it's such a, I think, brutal experience to lose your safety and your comfort.
Yeah, and all of your memories and
Yeah.
and all that sort of thing. And also there's a famous I don't want to misspeak. I think I'm right about this, that the sort of famous Malibu mobile home park, I think those maybe
Are those gone?
I think so. Maybe Garon can check that while we're
I
doing this.
definitely was watching live coverage and they were rushing to a mobile home
Yeah.
park and it was gone. It was gone.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's that one, but I mean, those aren't wealthy people, obviously. I mean, they have to pay rent, but from what I understand, their rent is like $1,000 a month, which is a lot of money, but they're not going to find anything else in Los Angeles for $1,000 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, what do they do? Like literally, I mean, do people leave the state? That's sort of one speculation. People who have the means to just maybe like enough of this with the fires and it's just bananas.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a, feels like such a tragedy for the city. I'm still not wrapping my head around it.
Yeah, I haven't wrapped my head around it either. I will say that last night we went to the Grove. That's how normal life is in our area.
Yeah.
We went to the Grove, and the Grove is a shopping center here, and we were going to see a movie. And as we got out of the garage, as we're walking into the Grove, everybody's phone went off with the alert, and it felt like being in a science fiction movie. It was so weird because everyone kind of froze in place and looked at their phone and tried to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
Turned out it was an error. It was incorrectly sent to all of Los Angeles, I guess.
False alarm. Yeah.
False alarm.
My friend got that. Immediately unplugged all of his computers and booked a hotel room.
Whoa.
Immediately. Like didn't even look at it. He just said he saw the evacuation thing, booked it, booked a hotel room, and then found out it was an error, and B that he booked it for a different night. He booked it for Monday and not for last night or whatever it was.
Was he able to undo everything?
No, they're gonna go. He's like, we're just gonna go. We're gonna go to Anaheim.
He needs it. He needs it.
They love hotel. They love doing that, just going to hotels or whatever. So this was just an excuse, but
that's funny.
I'm like, you need to just take a moment and just make sure, because if you're panicking, that's just it's gonna make you crazy.
And then, so then I was like, well, is it just in this area? But then we have like I don't know what app it's on, but we have a neighborhood texting thing. And then so the people in our neighborhood was saying it went off also. So we're like, wait a second. We haven't heard of any fires near us. Why are we suddenly going from nothing to leave immediately? So somehow, I don't know, enough people, we were talking to strangers, and there's a poor couple from France. They didn't know what the hell was going on. I was able to direct them to the nearest bathroom, which of course is in Nordstrom. But other than that, I was of little to no help.
Well, they'll be excited to come back to the United States, I'm sure.
Oh my God.
After this. Imagine this is your vacation to California.
How about you're watching the news and you see your house burn up on the news? Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, what if you're watching the news and then you see your house?
Well, I mean, that's how a lot of my friend Dawn basically found out, because I mean, you leave, you don't know what the fate.
Right,
and
that's what I mean.
Susan found out through seeing her house on the news.
Jeez.
Her chimney. Like, it's like you see your chimney and you're like,
God.
It's devastating.
That's unimagineable.
Yeah.
Wow. Is she staying at a hotel? Or
I don't
house,
know.
or? Okay.
I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I think people are probably staying with friends, and there's a lot of shelters that are put together right now. So
good. Yeah, friend of the show, Rachel Quaintance, had to evacuate. They went to a friend's house, and then it turned out it was fine. But they live near the Sunset one, so they had a. And then I wanted to open my house to friends, and then I'm like, every goddamn friend I have has animals, and we can't have animals here. So I'm like, I guess you're on your own, unless you want to leave the animals with someone else. Yeah. So this is sort of bananas. If you want something to laugh at in this trying time, if you want a completely inappropriate thing to laugh at, here we go. So while my city of birth is burning all around me, I went to the plastic surgeon
Okay.
Because as I told you, I am desperately trying to figure out this eye situation. So, which is that my lower eyes are just bags, and it's just a whole complicated situation. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll go to the appointment. So I knew that they were going to try to tell me, like, there's other things you need to do. Like, I'm not an idiot. I know that's what they're going to say. And I know there's other things I should do, et cetera, et cetera. So he starts walking me through it. And there's like multiple scenarios I could get done. You could get just this done. You could get this plus this. You could get this plus this plus this. This is what's going on. You have wrinkles in your eyes, but you also have loose skin, but you have fat, but you have, like, it's not just a simple, like, thing that I Googled.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm like, of course, it's right. So the doctor, who's very nice, says, well, I'd like to make analogies. What do you do for a living? I said, well, I'm a writer. And he goes, huh. Okay, that one's a little tough to make an analogy. Okay, I got it. Okay, say Saved by the Bell asks you to write a script for them. That's pretty easy, right? That's like, some pratfalls, some love stories between the kids that you could probably, that's pretty easy, right? I go, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. He goes, okay, but now say Steven Spielberg calls you and wants you to write a Holocaust movie.
Oh my God.
Much more complicated. So I said, so what you're saying is I have the Holocaust of faces. That's what, this could only happen to me, right? This is so on brand. He literally says this. This is what he comes up with. And he goes, no. I didn't say that. And I said, when I tell this story, and I will, you said that. It was so fucking on perfect. I was like, who else's face would be analogized to the fucking Holocaust but mine? So don't tell me something. Don't tell me, oh, I'm aging wonderfully, because I'm not. I'm fucking in a camp. My face is lining up and getting rid of its shoes.
Well, you know what my dad would say to that?
What?
Speaking of Schindler's List. Wow.
Can you know? It's so me, right? And then he goes, no, I swear I didn't say that. I go, you did. You basically said that. I was giving him crap, but.
Oh my God. Like, that is, I thought I had the king of bad doctor stories with the, oh, you are pretty.
No, this is the opposite.
But no, this is
no, you're absolutely not pretty. And let me compare it to the worst tragedy in world history.
This tops it. Like,
thank you. I feel so vindicated, validated at this point. I'm like, see? So anyway,
well,
it's
you know what?
It's a gajillion dollars. What?
Your eyes look really good.
Well, because they're blurred out. There's a filter on this Zoom. He didn't do it yet. I mean, I haven't.
He should have been like, look, gratis.
It should be free, right?
It should be free. Yeah,
Thank
for that.
You.
It should be free.
So it's a gajillion dollars if I do everything. I'm not going to do everything. I'm in the process of deciding what I'm going to do. I might get a second opinion. Oh, let's see. Maybe another doctor.
Can I know how much it really is?
No, I cannot say it.
Can you say it privately to me?
Yes, I will say
off
it privately.
Air? Okay.
I will say it off air.
Okay.
I mean, again, this is if major, a series of levers and pulleys are going to be involved. It's, there's going to be netting. It's, a construction zone.
They have to do the vaginal mesh, but on your face.
Yeah. There is fat grafting. That is one of the things. Fat grafting.
No. Do you want some from me or Garon? Because I don't know where they plenty.
Well, they can take it from, I guess they only need a little bit. And they're like, you can take it from your inner thighs. I'm like, yes, great, do it. But it's going to be like a nickel's worth. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to, show or anything. So that, I was like, only me, this would happen to. Like, I know it's tragic what's going on around.
I feel like this is the worst story to come out of the California wildfires.
I could not agree more. I had to evacuate my feelings. Yeah. Like, anyway. So that's
Wow. That is,
thought you would get a kick out of that.
that is a great story.
Yeah.
Wow. I wish I had something that good. I don't have anything that good. Do you guys want to hear about my trampoline?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of
Oh.
course.
Oh, did it fly away?
So, before the fires, it was, I don't know how windy it was in your guys' areas, but it was like hurricane level winds here.
Wow.
It was very intense. And Sven was coming home from work and he was going to stop at the store, get some stuff for dinner. Cause I had a plan that I was going to make these burrito bowls. He comes home with the food, the ingredients, power immediately goes out.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, we can't cook dinner because there's no power. And so I gather the flashlights, some candles. We all sort of kind of come collectively into the bedroom to hang out. So because the kids are scared, it's windy and we've never had a power outage before.
Oh.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, that is surprising.
Right? Because there's a lot of power outages and a lot of those sort of planned power outages because of heat waves, but we've never had that experience. So we're kind of like, oh, what do? We got to eat something. I'm like, well, why don't we just order burgers down in the little local village? It's super close. I'll just go pick them up because there's no delivery. And I don't know, I felt weird about doing DoorDash to the DoorDash person when it's that windy. I'm like, they can do it. So I'll just go pick it up. It's not that bad out yet, right? What's in my mind.
Okay. In
my mind. So Alex says, I want to come with you. I'm like, all right. So we leave. It's like Wizard of Oz, it's like, whoa. And I'm in my head going, this is probably okay, right?
Oh.
And, there's some loose kind of branches and stuff, but it doesn't seem that bad. We go sort of down into the neighborhood, and the first thing we see is a big part of a tree just on top of a car.
Oh, wow.
And like the car's kind of smashed in, and I'm like, fuck. And it's also very eerie because it's blackness. There's no lights
Yeah.
anywhere.
And what time of day is this?
It's like 7 p.m.
Okay.
So it's not that late. And then we just keep seeing that. We just see more trees on top of more cars. And I'm like, oh, this was not a good idea. But we're out. So I'm like, it's fine. We're just going to go get these burgers and get right back home. And no power all the way into the village. But then once we get to the village, it's like little Christmas lights and charming. And it's just like, death, and so we get the burgers. There's people eating the restaurant. Like, it's this sort of surreal feeling of like, it must be safe because people are in this restaurant. It's fine. We're coming back home. The street sign, one of the street signs is pulled out of the ground and just in someone's front yard. And Alex is like, Mom, I'm really scared. Aww. And I'm like, it's okay. We're fine. We're going to go right back home. We're going to eat these burgers, crawl into bed together and snuggled. Yeah. We're driving up, I have that incredibly steep driveway. Garen's never seen it because he doesn't ever leave his house.
Right.
But my driveway is
plus, which it would wind him. Let's be honest.
I don't know if he could make it up that driveway on foot.
I mean, it winds me. So
yeah. I mean, it is the thigh buster.
Yeah.
So this straight up driveway. And so just to give you sort of an idea of my front yard area, we have a steep driveway and then this big sort of circle turnaround because we don't have we don't have yard. So we put, during COVID, a huge trampoline there for the kids. It's like 15 foot.
Yeah.
You can get different sizes.
One of the big ones.
It's one of the big ones. And, it served us well. It is now off the ground, upside down.
Oh my God.
On our small deck. So there's like a small deck that overlooks.
It flew.
Yeah, it flew into the air. It somersaulted because it's a trampoline. God. And it like flew up in the air somehow and is landed like upsy daisy on top of we have this deck that's sort of on the mountainside that like overlooks the mountains. And then there's like a, I don't know, 40-foot drop off.
Yeah.
to the neighbors below.
Yeah.
It's just hanging there.
Wow.
I just see an empty space at first because it's all dark, and I'm like,
right. Where's the trampoline?
What? Where's the trampoline? And I was like, oh, Alex and I still have to get out of the car.
Yeah.
And then go the 50 steps. There's another 50 steps straight up to our house that are also, not steep, but it's another hall.
Mm-hmm.
You got 2 steep halls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of don't want to get out of the car.
Right.
Because it's scary.
Oh
but
my God.
We have to get to the house because now the wind is like another level of terrifying.
Right.
And there's like things, it's like really Wizard of Oz things flying in the air. And she's like, are we going to be okay? And I was like, we're going to be fine. I'm not going to let anything to happen to you. We're going to book it up the stairs. We're going straight inside. Nothing happened. It was fine. But Sven and Benji didn't even know because they had just stayed in the bedroom. I was like, guys, the trampoline, check it out. It's gone like rogue. And then it flew again down into the neighbors and blocked them in their house. Like,
wait a second.
It flew off there. And so at some point, like in the night, because we did not leave the house again.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that night was terrifying. We stayed all in the bed together.
I bet.
The cat even spooned with us.
Whoa.
Like, even the cat was scared and literally like curled up as a spoon in between Benji and I.
Oh, how's Frances doing?
Frances is fine. I mean,
really?
There is one side effect of all of this in that she is like, so I just pee and poop everywhere in the house now, right?
No, Frances.
I know.
Bad timing.
I think it's like we kind of have fallen off the wagon a little bit of being good trainers.
I guess you had no choice, honestly.
And she's all kind of like, what's happening? She's a little bit unsettled. She seems very happy, but she's also just like, the moment that it hits me that I have to pee, I'll just go. Mm-hmm. So we're off the training schedule a little bit.
So wait, so when the trampoline now landed in front of the neighbors, is it the Trump neighbors?
I think they all are. But,
okay.
We don't know about them. We don't.
The one with the effigy?
No. It's not them. It's like straight below us.
Okay, so
like if you parked,
and it blocked their front door.
I think it flew right into their driveway, which is also their front door. So they were like, "Hey, so your trampoline is in our," and we might need to evacuate. And I was like, so I said, "Well, I'll send Sven down." And she's like, "You know what? Forget it. We can just do it in the morning."
Really?
She texted me at, like 11:30.
Oh,
and I was like,
is it heavy? Is it hard to move?
Oh yeah, Sven had to take it apart.
Oh wow.
I mean, it was really damaged from both falls anyway. So I think, but he just went down at like, I don't know, 5 a.m. because another alert had woken us up. And so he was like, I'm just going to go down and move it. And I was like, do you want me to go too? Like, praying. He'd be like, no, I can help you lift it.
Right.
And he's like, no. I mean, I
have my slippers on.
Yeah. I mean, I could. So he just went down and took it apart. But the noise from the wind was like bang, bang, bang. Like we didn't know what was falling on our house, what was flying into our house. Like there was so many, it felt like our roof was going to just rip off of our house. And I kept saying to the kids, we're safe. But I didn't know.
Right. Of course. You have to say you're safe. Wow. Well, we have a basketball hoop that Jimmy smartly laid on its side so that
that was
wouldn't happen. But I don't know. I don't think there's anything you could do with a trampoline. I mean, except take it apart, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it never occurred to us that it would fly away.
Take flight.
That it was going to try to I think the trampoline was like, you know what? I'm leaving LA.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this shit.
You guys think it's fine to stay here, but I'm done.
Right.
I'm going to Michigan. So that was, it was a pretty scary night. And then obviously it didn't get less scary the next day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. I'm just hoping, like, please don't go to North Hollywood. Please don't go to North where my dad lives. Like, please, please,
Yeah.
please, please, please. Because that would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Luckily he's in the flats, not in a
Yeah, he's fine.
hilly zone. But I mean,
Yeah.
even just the smoke is really bad. And it's hard because there's just no predicting what can happen. And hopefully that
Right.
we're through the worst of the I mean, there's just
Do
still.
you think God is going to go through all of our episodes and test us and see if we've learned anything and make all of these things happen? We're gonna have
Yeah.
an avalanche and we're gonna get kidnapped and
Well, I mean, do you think we're going to have an
ship.
avalanche here, or it's just that if we go somewhere there's snow,
Yeah,
we're going to have an avalanche?
wherever it happens, it's just gonna.
God.
I did tell you to wet your roof because that's all I could remember from that our episode on fires.
But you know what's funny is when I looked it up, it doesn't seem to be a thing they're recommending.
Is that because they were running out of water and they wanted people not to use their water? Maybe
I don't know. Maybe maybe it's just a thing that it's passe now.
I don't know. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't know.
I don't know either. I really don't know. We did, do a lot of things sort of prep wise before we left. We did the documents and I took videos of everything in our house.
Oh, smart.
For insurance reasons. And I took my drapes down. Though we only have one room that has, I wouldn't even call them drapes. If you can see, I have like linen curtains in this room, and that's the only room that has any curtains.
Because why?
They're so fire. You just want to move anything that's going to make it easier for your house to catch on fire.
Right.
And we like moved stuff outside that was more flammable, and we just did anything we could to sort of prep.
Mm-hmm.
Made sure our hoses were attached close to our house, and I grabbed some photos. I grabbed my lockets that were gifts from Sven because I wanted, those are special to me. I had like 4 lockets on.
Wow.
And we're not unpacked. I mean, it's weird because we're living in this limbo space right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't unpack if I were you. I would keep it.
Like we have our backpack, like we have like our medications and the stuff that's important for us. And we're just kind of living in our house, but with our backpacks. It's very surreal, so we're feeling more comfortable, but also like maybe we still have to leave. And here's something that we kind of picked up on is that Benji has been like, well, even if we don't have to evacuate, can we just leave? Because I don't feel safe here. I really don't feel safe here. And we were like, that's not like Benji.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could definitely feel, Alex was definitely at first like, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
Right.
And we were like, we hear you, we're looking into places to go. But our whole thing was like, the air could still get so much worse.
Yeah.
And we kind of wanted to bide our time because it's not like we can go for 10 days right now. Like we're not. Right. So we were kind of like, we don't want to leave like now for 2 or 3 days and then we're gone and then have to go back.
Right.
And then suddenly the air's like at 400. And then we're like, well, yeah, but now we really financially can't.
Yeah.
Swing it.
It. Yeah.
We've already kind of blown our money of being away. So she kind of was like, started to feel more relaxed, I think, when she kind of saw like, oh, it seems like
good
things feel more under control. He's like, well, I still don't feel safe here. And I was like, that doesn't seem like him. So then Sven came to me and he goes, well, Benji took me aside and said, even if the air isn't bad, could we just maybe go somewhere? Because I really want to fish.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay, now we know what this is all about. He just wants to go fishing.
He and his fishing pole feel unsafe.
Yes, exactly.
It's like the worst idea to be outside, but okay.
Yeah, I'm like, we're gonna have to go pretty far.
Is Sven's store still open?
Yes, I mean it's kind of always open because of its online presence, but the shop is, I believe, still open because it's far enough away still, I think, from the Hollywood Hills fire.
Yeah.
So I think it's
like I said, I mean, in my area of town, it's kind of the same. Like, people are still doing things. So,
yeah. It's weird how like it can be so like, when I look outside now at my house, it looks, I mean, aside from how much damage there is at my house, like it looks totally beautiful and the sun's out. And like, if we go, we're pretty sheltered from the damage. And I'm sure a lot of it's been cleaned up in the streets. I haven't been in my car really, so I don't know, but I'm going to go drive and drop off some donations today. So, but I'm not going into like Altadena. I'm going to just drop them at somebody else's house who's taking a bunch of things to help some people. So I have been also very removed from the actual areas, which I don't think you're supposed to go into anyway. They're not like, hey, come over and look at this. They're still,
did you see the news story? Jimmy and I happened to both see it. For some reason, when I turned on the TV, it was 2 hours behind.
Okay.
I don't understand how it happened. But anyway, there was a news reporter in Palisades, which is the most devastated, like basically everything's gone.
Yeah.
And the reporter was showing like this was an Italian restaurant and everyone went here, and then this is a bank. The Bank of America is completely gone. And this is the Starbucks. A few minutes ago, a woman who is not a resident was looking for it, hoping it was open. What? What? There's just someone like, did she just put Starbucks in her GPS and like, oh, the closest one is, I mean, what is it? Like, I couldn't even understand the confluence of events that led to her going, yeah, I'm going to go look and see if the if you're not a resident, why are you in the Palisades? And no one's supposed to be there anyway. It was very funny. I don't know.
So she was like, I'm going to go to this place that's the most devastated because I want a Starbucks.
Right. The only thing I could think of, which of course is not what it was, is that she was a different reporter and was in the area, but a reporter wouldn't be that stupid. I mean, it didn't make any sense. Because obviously
bizarre.
Even buildings that weren't destroyed were still not open.
Clearly she wasn't listening to Steve Gutenberg.
That was so great.
I know. I loved when it was like I feel like the guy who's doing the report, first of all, wasn't even like born when Steve Gutenberg was, the height of success, but also it was like, I think he probably had one of those, whatever those are called in his ear.
IFB, yeah.
And that was like, he's like a really famous actor, and he was like, oh, now I recognize you.
Yeah. He was like, are you an actor? And he said, yeah. No, he said, what's your name? And he said, Steve Gutenberg. And he said, oh, are you an actor? You're an actor, right? And yeah, but I guess he was volunteering to actually move the cars himself, which is why he was telling people to leave I don't know if that happened, but basically what happened was there were a bunch of cars in the Palisades because people were trying to escape, and there was, bumper to bumper traffic. So people would get out of their cars and abandon them.
Yeah. And just leaving their cars.
Yeah. Which makes,
Yeah. I would do the same thing.
Yeah. And then bulldozers were basically bulldozing the cars to make a pathway for the fire trucks. So Steve Gutenberg, star of the Police Academy films and 3 Men and a Baby.
The day after.
Oh, that's right.
One of our early episodes.
That's right. Said you should leave your keys in your car so that we can move them so that they won't be run over, which I thought was very kind of him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Michael Winslow showed up and just made a bunch of noises of cars getting run over by a steamroller.
If only.
Right. It would have been nice.
Yeah, it's a weird time, guys.
Yeah.
But
we don't know if we're going to do a show for next week.
We don't know what's going to happen because we don't know what's happening.
Yeah, the Winds are supposed to be picking up again next week when we would be recording, although maybe we could do it a different day. I don't know. We don't know. So
I didn't even know that. I thought that Winds were done after tonight, and seems like it's not quite the case.
Tuesday, which is the day we record, is going to be a little bananas, but we could. So we will let you know.
Yes.
And do we have anything else?
I guess I just want to say that anybody because we do have so many listeners who do live in California.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of them are in Southern California, but we are also just thinking about you and hoping you're safe and okay. Anybody who's listening who wants to do anything to help, there's so many resources, but also the Red Cross is always a great place to go for
Right.
information because that's such a just like institution. And there are, I know, already Red Cross set up like at the front lines. I remember when I first moved out here, I volunteered to do Red Cross volunteering at one of the fires that was in Sierra Madre, I think, and that was like 20 years ago. So you can volunteer with the Red Cross, you can give money to the Red Cross. It's just immediately something you can do that's easy and
Yeah.
can be free.
Yeah. So, yeah, look for all those. And then there's places that are taking animals. There's a bunch of horses that had to be redirected to different places. And so lots of people, if you've been displaced, there's a lot of restaurants. And Gelson's Market is supposedly will send food to you if you've been displaced.
Uber and Lyft, I think, are both doing free rides for people who have been evacuated. Airbnb is doing free places to stay for people who've been evacuated. And so, yeah, just there's so many resources out there for people right now. And we'll keep adding them as we think of them.
Yeah. So we hope you're surviving. We're surviving. We're all extremely lucky that we don't happen to be in the places that are directly.
Yes, we're very lucky.
And yeah, I guess until next time, remain calm. We almost coordinated that over Zoom.
Close enough.
Close enough.
We'll take it.